Joe Padula Show. Absolutely. Lawyer Wayne.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get to some of those meetings on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I can't though soon.
Why not?
And I'm sorry, Robert. Yep, there you go. He picked up on the cue. Sorry, Robert. On Wednesdays.
You live like 2 minutes from there.
I
You
know.
could jog there.
But we're starting trivia on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay. What time's trivia gonna be?
I don't want to cross promote. Take away attention.
Too late.
No, it's fine. Come to our meetings first, and then you'll have a higher elevated trivia.
We should do.
Or mad as hell.
We should do trivia at the conversations, right?
Sure.
Like, what was the original model of the United States?
You can get all kinds of trivia ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a free beer?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Damn. We're going to be doing that at Chemo's, the new Hawaiian restaurant downtown.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Maybe we'll switch days. Oh, maybe you guys could switch days. or do it at Chemo's. Oh, no, we got Evil Nash is good.
Yeah, that's our good spot.
They got good beer, too.
Do the trivia, then come over to Evil Nash.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, we're there late.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Shut
Yeah,
it
we
down.
usually shut it down.
Yeah, we shut it down.
Okay, good. All right, that's what I'll do then. All right. I'll come in there all yawning. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But all right. Good job, intern Shane. Sorry about camera 4 not operating today, but we're making it work. All right, so I'm a white guy, right? And I sure don't feel like I have white privilege. Yet, new friend of mine, okay, his Facebook page, I see a lot of these posts claiming that it's real and that people like me have it. So, here to go over it all. I know, touchy subject, but gotta talk about it. You know what I mean? You just can't type stuff and yell about it. Just you talk about it. That's what we're gonna do here with JoJo Jimison. So, ladies and gentlemen, JoJo. Soon we'll have you back in to play the keyboard too.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So here it is, JoJo. Thanks for being here. What is white privilege?
Well, white privilege is pretty much, let's say, privilege.
Okay.
You have something someone else doesn't have, or you're able to do something that of a lesser group or abilities. So
Here, I'll get up on that mic a little bit more. Yeah.
My voice is just maybe a little too low. So.
I love it. It's a good, very velvety.
Yeah, I heard that before.
Nice.
No, but so it's mostly towards the whole thing of what people the advantages of a system, or like towards white privilege. It's the ends of of a race that, okay, we can do this, others cannot, and most of the people most of white people don't know they have it because they never had to experience anything on the opposite end, if that makes sense. For example, you can look at, there's some studies with even children, when they look at a doll, they'll look at a picture and say, is the white doll good, or is the black doll good? Pick which doll you prefer is the best doll. And majority of the whatever race it is, they'll go to is the white doll, because it's mostly looked at, the white doll is the good doll because of maybe ads or advertisements or things that they was taught when they was younger or passed down in generations. So when it goes to the white privilege, it's a lot of things that was built up to make towards the white individual to look as they're good, but any other race maybe be a little under that.
Okay. Well, with the advertising, like take the, follow the money, right? When it comes to advertising, you want to reach a demographic, so you advertise for that demographic, right? That's how in the broadcasting industry you have your demographics that your target demographics. And if there's a lot of ads for white kid dolls, 61% of the population's white, so I can understand that part. And if you break it down, it's, what was the 2018 census? It was 61% point something whites, 18.9% was Hispanic, 13.8 I think was black, 5% was Asian. Pacific Islander was point something of a percent. But nonetheless, I can understand where advertisers are just targeting more money. So I don't see that as white privilege, as the dolls. But I hear what you're saying, though.
It's just an example of it.
Yep, absolutely.
Can I piggyback off that?
Please do, Coach Chestnut.
So to add on, you don't take white privilege as such a bad thing, because every one of us have some type of privilege in certain segments of our life.
Right. Oh, I'm not taking it as a bad or a good
I'm
thing.
speaking
Yeah.
I'm not even just you, just
Yeah.
people in general, because now when we speak about white privilege, if you even put it on Facebook, they'll block you, which is crazy, because that's the best opportunity to have a good explanation and conversation.
We're
about it.
lucky we're not shut down right now.
Yeah, I believe it.
You know what I mean?
And that's to say that they won't do it later, right?
You've been on shows that they've done that to
Yes,
us.
absolutely. They shut me down.
Conspiracy Theory Thursday, back.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
boy.
with that being said, it becomes a problem when you use the privilege to oppress another group. That's when it becomes a problem.
Okay.
So if you're not using the privilege to oppress another group, then the privilege is already set up before you were born, because it's systematic. That's where racism and systemic racism comes in.
What
You
a-
understand?
Jojo, what about would there be any black privilege? Would there be any Hispanic privilege? Would there be any Asian privilege?
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go into the reality of it. Let's say sports. When you look at basketball, you're looking at who's going to be the best athlete. First thing they're going to look at this. They look at this African American man. He has this build. He's 6'1". They're going to automatically think off top, he's going to score this many points. He's going to be able to do this versus any other race. Then you go towards anything towards, let's say, soccer. And you got people all over in Europe practice. So you coming from overseas, from Europe, they're going to automatically think, hey, man, you're going to kill in this sport. So a lot of people go by their own views based off also it's just pretty much what we're trained our eyes to see. And that's why I say it goes based off still, commercials,
Right.
TV, movies. What's the word I'm looking for? When you base it off of people, I'm trying to think
Race
of
culture.
race culture. Like for example, like they say they say black people like grape Kool-Aid,
Stereotypes.
Stereotypes, right.
So, like things in that nature. So
Right.
people going by stereotypes.
Yeah, and
versus
there is a difference
anything.
between stereotypes and stats. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Right. And the stereotypes, like back in the day, all right? And I grew up in a very diverse area. You know what I mean? Jersey and New York, I mean, you walk around, you see all walks of life, which was great. But I'll tell you, it was very cliquey sometimes. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And we all got along with each other. But majority of us stuck to our cliques. And we were taught that by our parents. They were taught that by their parents. They were taught that by their parents. And then, you try, and we did. We broke our cliques and hung out with all different types. I mean, for crying out loud, this one girl, I mean, I couldn't believe it. Isabella, forget about it. But that's a different story. So how do we end that privilege then, that these cliques give each other?
To end it, first, I look at anything towards even like, let's say, racism is first to acknowledge what is happening. That's the number one thing. If you don't acknowledge it or I don't believe it just because I don't want to believe it, that's where the problem comes in. To understand, like, if somebody's hurting, you have to look at it like you're hurting. If I'm looking at it, I've always been on top, there's a problem. If I've never suffered anything, there's a problem. If I'm comfortable, there's a problem, because then how do you grow? How do you realize? So if I'm not looking at somebody else suffering and I'm just telling them they're down, I need to go down to your level as well to see, okay, why are you hurting? Because that's the thing of being brothers and sisters, being a family, being a country, is also the people who you feel is low or going through, you need to reach down to them and get on their level too. So when you see people, even let's say on the ends of homeless, going down to that level, I need to reach out to you. Why are you in this situation? So towards killing white privilege and all that racism stuff, I have to first open my mind up, my ears up, and realize just what I know and what I experience ain't the only way or the only thing.
Well, then, if white privilege needs to be done away with, then all the other privileges need to be done away with also.
Correct.
That's a tough battle.
That's not going to happen, though.
Right.
Because sometimes some people want to be different. I mean, we all want to be different, but at the same time, we all want to be the same.
And there's people of all races and colors that love being a victim also. And that is the reason why it will never change.
And I don't think that's a race thing right there. I think that's just an individual thing. I think that's just a poison in some people that they just want to be the victim because.
And in conversations, I found this interesting because many conversations with all walks of life, it's so many people. It is mostly the ones who do get if you want to say offended or like you have white privilege, it is mostly the blue collar workers, white people, or my white combat veteran battle buddies, who are the ones going, I don't have white privilege. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to maybe a white collar, more of my liberal friends. Why is that?
All they have to do is look at it from this perspective. When the statement is given, they're automatically offended because of the connotation of it. Just like if you use the N-word, right? So if you look at it from this perspective, that if you bring up the subject matter of white privilege, if you're not using it to oppress another group, then it's not your battle, it's not your fight, it's not your problem for the most part. However, you have to call other people on it when you see it's being used to oppress another group. The number one,
no matter what race.
Right. But the thing is, you're not going to get rid of privilege because we all have privileges.
Right.
The problem is when the privilege is used to oppress someone else or another group. If it comes out of the United States, let's just speak to our country alone. The number one thing.
Does the privilege go beyond the borders of the country?
Right, because it's bigger than the privilege because you go back to racism and systemic racism. In order for us to move forward anywhere, we have to acknowledge the fact that racism is still alive and still working, and it is systematic and systemic. It's a institution.
Where is racism in our system today?
Everywhere.
I need an example.
Okay, so if you want to go from buying a house, getting interest rates, living in certain neighborhoods, being targeted to move into a certain area, not moving to a certain area.
But it is illegal.
It's illegal,
That's
but
right.
it's still been accepted because we're not calling each other on it. So, for example, let's say if me and you go get a mortgage, right?
Right.
And we both go to the bank. They give you 3.45 and they give me 4%, and our credit history is equal. If I don't even know that you got the lower rate and you don't call up that person upon that,
right.
that's
vice versa.
Right, but if I'm not aware of it, the thing is, we have an inherent situation that, okay, we're just happy that we got the loan because many times we wouldn't even get the loan. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So when you will go in the bank and you may say, I'm worried about getting a low interest rate, we're almost worried about just getting a loan in itself because systemically,
There's no proof of that. Where's I just asked for a specific proof.
when it comes to the housing.
Show me. That's what I want. I want a stat. Give me a stat.
It's illegal now.
Yeah.
There's plenty of that in the past, especially.
Right.
That was just
Absolutely.
official policy.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not denying
And the
that.
leftovers. One of the things that people with your history, carpetbagging down here, and
That's
taking our
right.
jobs,
Damn Yankees.
don't understand necessarily that the leftover effects of original systemic racism. I can tell you exactly how it works. All right. So here's what happens. If you exclude a certain segment of the population, such as black people, from being able to go to certain schools, being able to get certain jobs, being able to live in certain areas and stuff, then even a generation or two after that or more, right, is still walking
Still
around.
gonna feel the effects.
Now they can go to the same schools, get in the same colleges, things like that. But the assumption is still that the backgrounds are tied up, that their family histories aren't as good as, say, an average white guy. And one of the best examples to me on this is look at our first African American president. He did not come from an African American family. He came from a Kenyan family and a white mother. His background was not one. His ancestors weren't brought over as slaves hundreds of years ago. His ancestral history was not tied up in the systemic racism.
And brought up pretty wealthy.
And so he
that's right.
rises to the top. But even so, because of the color of his skin,
Right.
because he looked like the people whose families had been oppressed in America for so long, he would have been treated and is identified that way. Same with your family. Your family came over as immigrants long after the Civil War and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But because of the way you look, people look at you and assume you must come from a family that has a certain background, that has a history in this country, just because of how you look.
Damn Dagos.
Yeah, and they don't know that if they don't, unless just like until you open your mouth and then we know who you really are.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on my yawls, though, all right? Hey, yawl. Right.
If I can add on towards you said some facts, like if you look at the prison system, you can look at a majority of it is African Americans, because also one of the issues is if you go through the whole prison system, you ask them how many people really believe they're innocent. How many times it's been proven that a lot of people of color is put in prisons and they're found out innocent later on, because it's easier for them to go through the system than the normal white individual, because of the thing is always looked upon, we're violent, we go through this, it's how we look at it. So that is a number one proof, and it's evidence. Like you go through research and it's proven that black people, not just black people, just people of color will go in the prison system and stay there even longer than any other doing the same crime.
That's why that First Step Act, okay, that got passed a couple of years ago.
It was even before then. Yeah, this is talking about Bill Clinton.
Yeah. I know what they passed in the 90s was almost a death sentence, if you will, for nothing.
Because even if, like, for example, for today, like I'm 37 years old. Even when I go
you look
to
young.
I appreciate that.
Don't worry about it.
Even go through the store, even at this age, every time I walk out of the store, if I don't have nothing in my hands, I feel somebody going to tackle me.
Right.
I feel somebody's going. I thought I was the only one.
But here's the thing. I'll tell you this,
You
though.
want the proof, right?
You back home, that's the same way for me. If I go into a store, that's a great example. All right. If I go into the bodega, all right, I go in, I saw a roach. I'm going out. Okay? They're going to look at me like I stole something. Right. It's interesting being down here, though.
You see the difference?
No, there is a difference.
There is a difference between North and South.
And I can tell you, here's an example of my white privilege. Right. I get stopped going out of Walmart, especially, all the time. They want to check my bags. They want to see my receipts since I was young.
That's right.
All the time, right? I have never once questioned whether it's because they're racist, because I ain't black, right? I know why they stopped me. It's because I look like this, right?
They're beardists?
But if I were black, right, even if that person wasn't being racist against me, I would have in the back of my mind the worry that they are. And I'm privileged to never have to worry about that because of the color of my skin. And I didn't deserve that. I didn't do anything to earn that. But that's just a little way that you can walk around as a white person and never realize the privilege that you have until you talk to people that, don't.
Now, Robert, okay, you don't mind we bring it into this one, right?
Sure, yeah.
So, Robert, okay, have you guys discussed this in your groups? White privilege and stuff like that?
I think we talk about what the current culture in the United States, kind of the cancel culture kind of stuff.
Yes, the cancel culture.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on it?
I think you guys have a lot of good points. I think that what you were trying to look for is like specific proof of privilege would be, in my mind, a real quick thing to look at is the richest person in America. And now look at the richest black person in America and look at the difference between what they were able to gain. So you have multi-billionaires, and then you have the richest black person in America is nowhere near that. There's a huge gap, and that's a privilege. That's a privilege that like Bill Gates and them afford.
But they say, argument-wise, okay, take Bill Gates, right? So here's a guy, didn't come from too much and built his company, right? IBM, right? And boom, 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 and made a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Good for him. The richest black guy out there, I don't even know who. Maybe I'll ask Alexa. That'd be an interesting one. Alexa, who is the richest African American?
Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, of course.
How much she worth?
I don't even think that's accurate.
I don't think it's
No, it can't be.
It's a black man. I forgot his name.
How much is Oprah? Alexa.
I think it's like a Nigerian business.
They use such a terrible picture of her, too. I got the Alexa where it shows the pictures, right? They could have used a much better picture of her. Alexa, how much is Oprah Winfrey worth?
Oprah Winfrey is worth an estimated $2,700,000,000 US
Yeah,
dollars,
yeah,
and she
right.
receives a salary of $300 million.
Founder
US
of
dollars.
BET is worth more than that. Right.
But even if you look at Oprah, yeah, she's worth $2 billion. But look
racist.
what she had to go through to get the $2 billion.
Yeah.
You understand?
I know. She had the Color Purple, terrible movie.
Well, no, even beyond that, look,
Yeah.
she came from the South, right? And she
Tennessee girl, right?
Right, and her family was put through X, Y, and Z, without going into detail, just to make ends meet, just because of the system that was in place.
Oh, and I hear you, and I'm glad that the difference between the North and South was established, just scenario wise. Because don't get me wrong, you still got people, racist people up there, but like I said earlier, the cliques. Do you know what I mean?
You know, New York, Jersey, Philly, Detroit, Pittsburgh,
all the places with high taxes.
Right, those are some of the most segregated cities.
Yes.
in the world. You go there and African Americans live over here. Mexicans live
Absolutely.
over here. Puerto Ricans live
Right.
over here.
Oh, that's the
Polish
other
people
side of
live
the
over here.
tracks. Yeah.
Exactly. And everyone stays in their own area unless I feel like getting some Italian. But then you got to make sure you know what Italian restaurant to go to, because you're not going to be welcome at all of them. It just depends, and that's trial and error in itself.
So, will that ever change?
It's changing all the time.
Do people have a right to be inclusive to their culture?
You have the right, but when you hold other cultures down from progressing, that's where we have the problem. We just have to learn to hold each other accountable, and I think it's going to get better. We're going to completely eradicate it? No, but it can't be just a daily occurrence. Like people just doing what they want to do. That's not acceptable in any form or fashion.
I think it's already in process being changed, because at one point it wasn't even talked about.
Yeah.
When I was young, we knew as African Americans what white privilege was, but we didn't speak it. We didn't talk about it. The thing is, what brought it to light was actually when people started getting cameras and videos, and now you're seeing this happen and this happen and this happening, and then you have an audience that sees, oh, this does happen, versus I'm just hearing it from your mouth because I'm just thinking you just complaining. I'm just thinking you trying to, the ones that just complain about everything. Now there's evidence.
What do they call them? The Karens.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, for example, like I'm just doing this, and you want to call because of this, or complain about this, because the thing is, back in the day, people used to get fired just because they didn't like your smell. They didn't like because you didn't say, you didn't open the door for them. They'll complain. All kinds of stuff.
Dated a girl like that. Yeah.
So that's what I think. I
got
think
fired after I didn't open the door for him.
Because it's been presented now into the local stream. Everybody's now seeing it. So now we're speaking on it. So that's what's going to help it.
An issue recently, though, and Bay, I think we talked about this a little bit, is the white guilt. Where I see people saying hello to black people, strangers, like at the supermarket. Who do we talk about? Jimmy Terry.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's ruining, because I'm always a helloer to anyone. Always. And now when I say hello, I get to look like I'm doing it out of white guilt. I've always been a helloer.
Yeah. I think it's only because of the climate we're in right now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Right now, everything, let's make this clear. Nothing's going back to the way it was.
No,
it's not happening.
It's not.
This is really the new world order, right? But
don't say the new world order. Oh, we don't.
Yeah.
Facebook, we still on?
Yeah. But if you think back to, remember when 9/11 hit? If y'all remember this time? After 9/11, this was the best country in the world.
Right.
Everybody loved
was
everybody
together.
for like literally 18 months.
Yeah.
Because we came together against one enemy.
Yes.
Now it seems to be more internal.
Yeah. We're our own enemy now.
And I'll tell you, there is a privilege that I do have, and it is an American privilege. That is for damn sure. I mean, we all have it. We just got to find a way to realize that we have it, so we can be unified again. And we're in the process of that now.
And everybody has to receive it.
Right.
Because the thing is,
exactly.
You might receive it different than I receive it.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, because like I said, when I get pulled over, it's going to be a little different on my end. Because that's just how I know how I feel when I get pulled over, even if I just got a broken tail light.
Yeah.
So
understood.
Well, even the way you're trained to act and respond.
Because literally my hands go like this on top of my
Well,
I ain't doing
you
all
should
that.
see me.
I ain't
I
doing
I
live
have literally done that.
I turn the interior light on and put my hand on it.
smart
steering
move.
wheel.
You got to put that interior light on, so they see something. They got
Some people threw their
see
hands
ya.
out the window, all that stuff. So
I live in
I always hurry and chug my beer.
I live in a predominantly a black
Don't drink and
area,
drive.
where I live now, and I'll tell you, it has been. I have great neighbors, and they have been very, I guess, understanding of me.
But you're not normal, Joe. I don't even mean that in a negative way.
I take offense to that.
If you take your personality, how you carry yourself, you've been in the military, you've been overseas, everyone has an experience that, so you have your whole energy and vibe is completely different than most.
Well, then that's how we fixed this.
You understand?
That's how we fixed the whole privilege thing.
Yeah.
We send them to the military. Well, first they go to New York. Okay. No, first they got to go to Jersey. Okay. Drink the coffee. All right. Second, you get the dirty water dogs in New York. All right. Mustard with the deli mustard, not that yellow crap. You get the mustard with the red onions. All right. Then you go join the military.
They use red onions on hot dogs?
Yeah,
in New York?
absolutely.
They don't use white onions?
No.
I
Weird.
definitely think travel
You are
is key.
weird.
No, I am weird.
The more we travel
the
as
more-
individuals,
yes,
when
exactly.
you, like you said, we have the American privilege.
You're right.
Like I thought I knew about it until I went overseas, like going over in Europe and
Mm-hmm.
Italy and Germany. You like, oh, we are. People really don't like us. They don't care if you black or white. You're an American.
See, and
In your
to be honest with
uniform,
you, I don't care if they like me or not.
Well, I was a little nervous because where I was at, they blew up our post office, and I was like, well, okay, you really don't like
Yeah.
us. So
I don't care what outsiders think of us.
Nope.
Because we have to focus on ourselves before we focus on their opinion.
the biggest thing is to learn from like different areas. Like I'm from Memphis, so I was in an area how they had a system.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no, I mean I'm born and raised, but I love it. I won't live there, but I love it.
Intern Shane, get him the hand sanitizer, all right?
But my parents started me in a private school was predominantly white, and then my middle school was the neighborhood school was predominantly black, and then my high school was actually that same crew from each
Coming
area
together, yeah.
came together. So that gave me the ability to learn from both sides. So it also brought an understanding and a relationship. So if everything's always separated, for example, like you can't come to this side of the town, you can't go to school here, you can't do all these things, that's what separates us. And that's when we got different learning. We don't get close to each other. We don't build relationships. And then we come up with our own mindset.
That's why I like school choice. You know what I mean? I like that.
It's like I dealt with racism on all sides.
Do tell, Bay.
I dealt with black folks, Puerto Rican, white folks, Japanese, all that.
You know who's the most, in my opinion, in my learnings. Do you know who the most racist is? Asians. Listen, I'm just from my experience. Oh, because I learned words because I had Asian friends and they told me words, and I would hear these their parents speak. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So what did you do about it?
Me?
Did you learn the language?
I laughed. I laughed because I was hanging out with their son.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we used to do racial jokes all the time, like back and forth to each other. We used to do Polish jokes. Do you remember Polish jokes?
Do those count?
Well,
They will if
it's
you're
a
Polish.
it's a culture,
They will now.
right? Italian jokes. You know what I mean?
See, we didn't. My crew, we didn't do that. But I grew up in a pretty diverse group as well, and we had. It's just certain things. We didn't play fight a lot.
Oh no.
It's just either it's on or it's not. So, but I grew up in a more tense environment due to race. I grew up in the housing projects where race was an issue and a whole lot of things weren't funny. You know what I mean? If you didn't play with a Tonka truck, then it wasn't funny.
The jokes are more of what was mentioned earlier, the stereotypes of each other. You know what I mean? And that kind of brought us the busting of each other's balls. Kind of created a cohesion between us. And maybe that's just from where I come from, where busting balls is cohesion.
Where here people test people to see their toughness and their strength here.
Like a power trip?
No, just to see where you at.
Yeah.
If you're gonna stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna hang out with a little chump.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Can't do that. Because if a fight break out, you're gonna have my back.
Can't take no L by myself.
Running.
I tell you, true story. I was at This was 2 years ago. I was in Publix, And right after track practice, I went and got some chicken, and I had some potato salad.
No comment.
I
No
had
comment.
sweet tea.
Oh, he knew it.
And so the girl, she was Puerto Rican, I believe. Puerto Rican, Mexican. No, she's Puerto Rican. She's ringing everything up, and she got done, and she started smiling. She's smiling. I said, I know what you're smiling about. I said, I know. I didn't check every box with every stereotype all at one time. She's like, no. I said, it's cool. I'm not offended.
Right.
And then we had a good laugh, and then that was it.
Right.
You know, her energy wasn't bad or anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you said, sometimes it can be a funny moment.
Yeah.
But when you use it to, degrade or be derogatory,
exactly. When there's negative
oppression,
when there's negative energy behind it,
right?
When there's evil behind it, that's the problem.
And we know the energy, but the people who's using that negative energy try to act like no, we know,
right?
No,
because there's a lot of comedians that they use it as an advantage, but then also some that also use it to hurt another culture and things like that. So it's your purpose.
Right.
Am I doing it out of the to help, just to bring laughter amongst each other, bring joy?
Yeah.
Or is your purpose to tear down? Anytime your purpose is to tear down something, you automatically in the wrong. So it's not even just the whole. It's just good and evil. That's the point blank.
Everything's about intention.
Right.
Intention.
Right, Robin. Right.
There's no bad guy. There's only you and me, and with this
okay,
disagree.
I feel like I should be playing "Lean on Me" right now. Great movie. Coach Chestnut.
Yes, sir.
If this, I don't know. Yeah, it can't be fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a terrible attitude and something terrible to say, but privilege, and we based it. You base it down to evil, right? That's where we brought it to, and there will always be evil, some way, somehow.
Well, yeah.
So we got to learn how to mitigate it. Yeah,
I agree. We can't get rid of it, but we can mitigate it. We can reduce it
and expose it.
We can make it uncomfortable.
You can
It's
overcome
almost
it.
like who right now will go in the airport and say, "I got a bomb."
Look with
We're not doing that, right? So that when it comes to racism and sexism and all other isms, we have to make it to the point where it's not acceptable. And the more you make it unacceptable, the less you will see it. It's still going to happen. It's like domestic violence. It's going to happen. We can't stop that. Two people in a relationship are going to argue, and someone's going to get to a fight eventually.
And
right?
Yeah, right. But here's where I see as an issue, okay? As an ambassador of Caucasians, okay?
I didn't vote for you.
Is when people use white privilege, saying that you have white privilege, as an insult. Okay?
It becomes weaponized.
Right.
in
Weaponized.
certain
Nice.
ways, yeah.
Right, Robert.
But if you see, I think that's like I can't remember what your original question was, but is it just enough to take an earnest look at yourself when you experience the privilege? Is it to sit there and say like, I just got through this a lot easier than an African American brother of mine would have? Like, is there a definite reason to step back and say, oh, I just experienced my own privilege, and take account of it? Because how much are you supposed to do about it? Are you supposed to recognize it in the moment and say, actually, I want you to treat me as you would treat everybody else? Because most people are going to take advantage of it if it's available to them.
Yes. Like, I watch these videos of these groups chanting, I'm sorry for my... I'm like...
See,
what do you guys
It
know?
might just come from a place.
No
more
black
ignorance.
person wants that. No black person stands there asking white people to say, "I'm sorry for my ancestors."
I don't know. I saw the video of the guy making the girl kiss his feet.
Yeah, I don't. That's
I hear you.
that's-
I hear you.
I don't.
No.
I know.
They trying to get views, likes. I don't know.
Exactly. Power trip.
I
or
think.
whatever.
I think 99.9% of most African Americans just want changed behavior.
Totally agree.
That's what it want. That's what we want. And the fact
Everything
that
fair.
if I
Fair.
say you have white privilege, one, the black person probably should be aware of the energy that they're distributing that statement. But the person who receiving it, the white person, shouldn't take it so offensive because it's prevalent, right? But then have the conversation and then make something out of it. Positive. It don't always have to
That
be
conversation.
It don't always be a negative
But
exchange of conversation.
and adding to that, okay, when people are calling people, oh, you have white privilege, you also see in cases where they get called racist as well. And I think that word is being thrown around way too much towards people of all races.
I agree.
It loses its power. For example, I don't have to call somebody a racist to recognize a racist. So that's the other part. If I have to come out of my mouth and say you're a racist, I lost the whole power of that statement. Because the thing is, back in the day, it wasn't said you a racist. We just knew this person's a racist. Stay from this area, or when you come in this area, expect this. So it wasn't a public thing that just like I'm just gonna bust everybody out as you're a racist. Because the thing is, sometimes people don't know. I'm being honest. Sometimes people don't know they are acting in that way.
They're not trained, right?
And then there are some people that are purposely, this is who I am, and they're gonna stay that way as well.
Who are trained to be,
you know.
right.
So the thing is, there's a difference of me telling. If I'm telling you you're a bully, is that gonna stop you from being a bully?
Yeah, you said that with a very deep voice, you know.
So the best thing to do is present it to you in a different manner that you might receive it, that you might change how you're acting or how you presenting yourself. If I keep coming to you, you're racist, that's not going to stop you from being a racist.
To be honest with you, it's going to embolden.
Right.
Right. It is going to make me hold on to that to prove a message to you, right?
So the whole thing is, how do you help each other recognize something? So I would want, if something's wrong with me, I would want somebody to come to me the right. But if you come to me the wrong way, I'm not going to receive it.
Right.
I'm going to reject it.
Bay, racist versus bigot. What's the difference?
Nothing to me. I still don't like it.
You don't, yeah. Don't be a bigot. Don't be a racist. But like you're right. There's people that are just not taught, or they are taught to be.
Learn the history too.
Yeah.
If
Read
you,
a book.
If you learn
book.
the history a little bit, it would alleviate so much confrontation from the very beginning. Because me as an African American, I almost feel like I'm being made it to be my responsibility to teach America or white America the atrocities that happened in the past, because they left it out of the education
school system, sir.
Right. And so now you have this big gap of lack of knowledge, and then they will say, well, that happened back in 1965. Like, you notice that's not that long ago, right?
You know, people still living.
Right. You know,
Yeah,
still alive.
right? And then they're like, well, as African Americans, we had a black president. Y'all should be doing better now. Okay, this started back in 1619, and we're still trying to progress. And every time that we get a leader, per se, they become they're assassinated by help of the government, right? Yeah. So now you have a whole culture that is fearful of being a leader. You don't see too many leaders jumping out there. You got to be a leader underground in order for anything to work, because you're afraid of losing your life, not just your family, your life, right?
Intern Shane, what did we say to you yesterday? Be a leader.
Yeah.
Because right now your generation is lacking leaders. And why are they lacking leaders? They're afraid.
Yeah.
Well, for us, being a leader right now is being a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you right now, I feel like this. I'm not going to jeopardize my family, per se, but my goal is to, 1, empower the youth, and 2, reduce racism and systemic racism. That's my whole motivation. That's my focus. And whatever happens to me, happens to me. That's how I feel as right here, right now. Right? That's how I'm living it.
All right. Well, you got a typo on your shirt, though.
No, that's perfect, man. It's perfect.
E-racism.
E-racism. I got it.
I feel like we all should have the opportunity.
Yeah,
regardless
of course.
race, creed, color, gender, it don't matter.
Where you come from.
Yeah.
Right.
If me and you go out and have a beer,
right, and
we're at a bar, and somebody slap you, I'm not just sitting there. It's gonna be a slapathon.
That's right, a slapathon.
You know,
that's good.
Yeah, if you with me, you my peoples. Period.
Yeah.
What if it's my father that comes in and slaps me for talking about his balls earlier?
That's different. That's different.
If
you my
we're gonna cheer him on.
If you with me and you in my circle, regardless, male or female, it doesn't matter. If we together, then we ride together, we die together, we bad boys for life. You know,
we came here together, we leaving together.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, no, and I hear what everyone's saying. I do. Lawyer Wayne, now,
Bad Boys for Life.
Is there?
Love that movie.
Is there Messianic Jew privilege though?
Yes.
What
absolutely. The I tell you exactly the kind of privileges they have. When they get together, and
why your voice changed?
And Ben Shapiro gets on and tells you about the facts, not feelings.
That's
the Jewish privilege. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Jewish privilege.
Yeah,
right.
People make certain assumptions. I go talk to an inmate in jail or something.
Uh-huh.
You know, they find out, I got a Jewish lawyer.
Oh yeah,
They act a certain way.
Think they're gonna win?
No.
all right.
I'm going home.
Even the Aryan Brotherhood, is happy to have a Jewish lawyer.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like, yeah, you people, y'all do good at that.
Yeah, you're all very good at
He's
that.
Thank
good
you,
at getting
sir.
people out of prison.
But it has its pros and cons.
Unreal.
That's good for money. Yeah. All them diapers you've been buying in years.
right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we went over a little time here, but I don't mind. We're not even going to do the Johnny Depp with the
Oh, we're not
poop.
getting to the Johnny Depp and the poop. That's okay.
No. We won't do our rap news. We'll do that next week.
Okay.
That give me a better chance for picking out the
You need
stories.
to practice. Yeah. Practice over the weekend.
Coach Chestnut, what'd you learn on the show today?
I learned that we actually can have a conversation in spite of what's going on in today's world. I did lose faith for a minute that we could have legitimate conversations, so I'm glad that we could do that here right now. And you have the ability to broadcast it. And once again, I thank you for putting this together.
Too easy. Barely an inconvenience. Right. Lawyer Wayne, what'd you learn on the show today?
Learn I need to treat my interns better.
Yeah, you're rough
Say
on them.
please and thank you.
Yeah.
It's a new era.
Right.
I'm going to take that to heart. Thank you, intern Shane. You did a great job today.
Yeah, he did. He was very good with the camera. After the first 5 minutes, then it was all good after that. Jojo, what'd you learn on the show today? Anything stand out for you?
I learned it's a good vibe in this room, man.
Right?
Yeah.
It's got good
vibe.
energy.
Yeah.
And we also have flat seltzer water. Yeah, so if you ever want any.
Yeah, I brought my water. I'm good.
Thanks for coming today.
Appreciate it.
Let's see how good intern Shane is. Robert.
Hey.
Sorry, camera 4 is not operating. What'd you learn on the show today? Anything stand out for you?
I learned that it is best to recognize your privilege and then not become offended by recognizing that privilege and then turn that privilege into good.
Yeah.
For equality.
There you go. There you go. That's what's up.
I knew that when I came in here, but
Yeah, that's right.
It was reinforced.
I was living that before I came here. I didn't have one.
Wednesdays, Evil Nash.
Evil Nash, sure.
What time you guys start up?
6:30, 7 o'clock.
Great conversations. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, brother. There we go. He's getting it. Don't worry. I'll get camera 4 operating. So. Oh, intern Shane, what'd you learn on the show today? Here, pop on that Lawyer Wayne microphone there, if you don't mind. Just don't blow into it, all right? And stand behind him so you're on camera. There you go. Austin P. Let's go pee. There we go. He's in. Okay. Intern Shane, what'd you learn on the show today?
Well, I learned a lot. Like, for one thing, I learned that there's a, I want to say atheist group, right? I want to make sure I got that.
A collection of all minds, I believe.
Free thinkers.
Yeah, free thinkers.
Yes, free thinkers. Like, there's a free thinkers thing going on, and I wouldn't mind checking that out,
Please come.
honestly. And aside from that, I learned from the usual with like everything that's been going on today, like the stereotypes, the racial culture, and everything like that. It's it's a lot to learn. It's like you learn something new every day with that subject.
Yes, sir. It's true. Pass that along to your fellow young students over there. That conversation's part of the solution of the problem. All right, Bay, what'd you learn?
2 things.
Okay, 2.
Oh, and the guys we trust on the money.
Uh-huh.
I wonder when they gonna change the money now.
Oh, yeah.
Rosa Parks, all them. They talk about all that.
Telling you, make a $7 bill. Roses on it.
And there is white privilege to a limit.
Uh-huh.
I used it before with my friends. got out of some sticky situations.
Man, you ain't lying.
For a second, I thought he.
Frankly, I'm taking my drunk friend home. Him and his girl just got into an argument.
I learned that privileges come in all different forms.
Yep.
I'll tell you, some bad, but can some be good?
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
Yeah.
Some privilege can be used for good. And I learned that if I do get insulted by words, That's me for feeling insulted. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's up to me to, if I get called a name, like that girl that called me racist and everything. Yeah. It upset me a little bit until I thought about it. I got nothing to worry about. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. I can't believe it's this late already. Are we going to go for a drink, right?
I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going for drinks. JoJo, you get hammered a lot. What do you drink?
I get hammered a lot.
That's what I heard. That it was in the bio.
It's called the setup.
In the bio?
Yeah, that's the setup.
I need to read my bio, man.
Jojo, you're a church-going man. He trying to set you up.
I'm like, I got to read my bio. Wait a
Evil
minute.
Nash. We'll stop by Evil Nash.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll stop by Evil Nash. All right. Clarksville, hey, have a great, safe weekend. Thank you for allowing us to have your conversation right here on the Joe Padula Show, where Clarksville goes to party with a purpose. Absolutely.
This is Lawyer Wayne. Check me out at lawyerwayne.com and check me out on TikTok at Lawyer Wayne. You're listening to the Joe Padula Show. Absolutely.